Welcome to the Harvest of the Month, where each month we'll be learning about a different seasonal fruit or vegetable grown locally in California. The Harvest of the Month program was developed by the California Department of Public Health and the Champions for Change campaign. We're the Lake County Snap Ed team of Matthew and Casey, here to talk about this month's healthy harvest. It's juicy, sweet, and sometimes tangy. The harvest of the month is pears. The pear is a delicious fruit that can be used in all sorts of recipes, such as desserts, salads, and main dishes. But probably the best way to enjoy a pear is to eat it fresh. Let's start off with some pear history. Pears have been one of the world's most beloved fruits throughout history. It has been called the gift of the gods by the famous Greek poet Homer in his epic poem, The Odyssey. And in popular culture, the pear tree was immortalized alongside a partridge in the 18th century Christmas carol, The 12 Days of Christmas.
A partridge in a pear tree.
Pears date back to ancient times as one of the earliest cultivated fruits by many different cultures. Long ago, Romans ate pears raw or cooked, just like apples, and developed extensive pear growing and grafting techniques. There's also evidence of pears being used as food since prehistoric times, having been cultivated in China for about 3,000 years. Early colonists brought pear seedlings across the Atlantic Ocean to America. And in 1849, during the Great California Gold Rush, miners, nicknamed the 49ers, brought the seedlings to the West where they continue to grow in California today. Fun fact, the San Francisco 49ers football team actually got their team name from the gold miners who arrived in Northern California during the Gold Rush. Now let's talk about some homegrown California pear facts. The California pear harvest begins in mid-July and continues through September. California ranks first in the production of Bartlett pear, producing about 60% of the nation's Bartlett crop, and third in all pear production, producing 32% of all pears grown in the United States. In fact, we grow so much pear that in 2014, California produced 378 million pounds of the fruit, which is about the same as 31,500 African elephants. Did you know the city of Kelseyville in Lake County claims the title of Pear Capital of the World, which it celebrates every year in September with the Kelseyville Pear Festival. Together with Lakeport, Cortland, Clarksburg, and Ukiah, these areas produce nearly 150,000 tons of pears each year. Time to learn about how pears grow. Much like its close relative, the apple, pears grow on trees and can take about 3 years after planting to produce fruit. Pear trees need lots of sun and deep, well-draining soil in places with long sunny days and cool nights, like in Northern California. During harvest time, the pear fruit is picked from the trees before they are ripe. If left on the tree to mature, the fruit can become woody or mushy. Pear trees are one of the most long-lived of all orchard fruit trees, capable of producing fruit for 75 years or longer. There are more than 3,000 varieties of pears worldwide, which differ by flavor, sweetness, texture, size, and color. Some popular varieties in the US are the green and red Anjou, the green and red Bartlett, the Comise, the Bosque, the Forel, the Nashi, also known as the Asian pear, and the Seckel. Now that we've gone over some of the different kinds of pear varieties, let's learn about how to choose a ripe pear that's ready to eat. As we mentioned before, pears don't ripen on the tree and can become wooden or mushy if not picked earlier. And while the Asian pear is one of the few pear varieties that can ripen on the tree to juicy, crunchy perfection, most pears are picked before they are mature, which is how they are in the grocery store. When looking for a ripe pear to eat, press a finger gently into the top of the pear just where the stem is. If there is a bit of give or softness, then the fruit is ripe. But be sure to avoid pears that are soft anywhere else, as that could mean they are overripe and probably mushy. And if you happen to pick an unripe pear, you can leave it at room temperature to help it ripen. Otherwise, you can store ripe pears in the fridge if you plan on eating them later. Lastly, let's learn about some of the benefits of eating pears. A raw pear is about 84% water, 15% carbohydrates like sugar and fiber, and about 1% other nutrients. One medium-sized pear contains vitamin C, which is important for helping your body fight off diseases, and fiber, with an additional source of fiber if you eat the skin of the pear. But what is fiber? Fiber is an important nutrient we get from food that helps our bodies stay healthy. It can help move food through our body, so without enough fiber in our diet, it would make going to the bathroom pretty unpleasant. Fiber can also help you feel fuller for longer after a meal, helping you avoid overeating because you feel hungry later on. And fiber may also help prevent diseases and conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and some types of cancer. Fiber can only be found in foods that come from plants, such as fruits, vegetables, beans, nuts, and seeds. So it's important to eat enough of these foods every day in order to get enough fiber. And remember, according to the My Plate Food Guide, a healthy plate at every meal should be half fruits and vegetables like pears. Thanks for joining us for this month's Harvest of the Month. See you next time.